Thanks for listening to TalkNorth.com, and thanks to our sponsor, Bite Squad, bitesquad.com, or on the Bite Squad app. Our special deal this weekend is celebrating the Gopher women's volleyball team making it to the NCAA tournament and celebrating their first-round games. Use promo code GophersVB. Obviously, this is in volleyball. GophersVB, all one word. Starting on Thursday night, running through Sunday night, you will get 10% off of your order. It will work one time for anybody this weekend. Gophers VB at bitesquad.com or on the Bite Squad app. Thanks again to our listeners who participate in these Bite Squad specials, and thanks, of course, to Bite Squad, bitesquad.com. Food for your mood delivered. Welcome back to the Viking Update Show with Tim Yoder, publisher of Viking Update. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune. A lot to get to this week. The victory over the Dolphins, the change in offensive coordinators, how it all played out, and a big game in Detroit on Sunday. This is part of the TalkNorth.com podcast network, one of our two football shows along with Jeff Diamond's Vikings and NFL Insider. I recommend both great complimentary pieces for everything you need to know about the Vikings and the NFL. Thanks to our sponsors, Mississippi Pub, Beaver Island Brewing, WizKids.tech, Twill at Dinah Galleria, FixologyRepair.com, and Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin. So, we saw the Vikings take charge of a game. We saw them run the ball effectively. We saw them stick with the run. We saw them score 41 points and win a blowout. So everything's good now, right?
Yeah, maybe not.
You damn media people. Why can't you just enjoy it?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, all those things were great, and in some cases, things that I thought they needed to do, like run the ball more, especially in games where Dalvin Cook was effective, which I thought was, to me, looking back, the New England game, I said it after that game, and I continue to stand by it. Of all the games, that was the biggest mistake, where they did not run Dalvin Cook enough. He was averaging over 9 yards a carry in that game, and he got 9 carries total. But in this game, they finally did it. They stuck with the running game, and it was working, and therefore it's much easier to stick with it. They also got a 21-0 lead by the end of the first quarter, which helps you stick with it. So all those things are great. The one question I have is, was it really the Vikings and their change in philosophy with Kevin Stefanski, or was it just a really bad Dolphins defense? And I think it was a combination of the two. To me, though, I fear that more of the factor was the Dolphins, and just being able to run that effectively. I don't think that's going to happen much, in the near future for this team. I think they're going to have to be closer to a balance than they were previously, though. And so I think what happened is what Cook did, what Murray added to it, should give them confidence to be able to stick with it a little bit more against better defenses, and hopefully they do that in the next 2 games or more, depending on how this whole playoff thing shakes out.
You know what makes me crazy, though, is the cliches that people pass off around the NFL. Sometimes it's fans, sometimes it's writers, sometimes it's coaches. Establish the run. Establishes the run is one of the dumbest phrases in football. If you only establish the run, it's like, what have we learned from Bill Belichick over the last 15, 20 years? Do what works.
Yes.
He will go into a game and say, okay, we're not going to be able to run the ball against this team. We're going to throw it 50 times. He'll go in the next game and say, we're not going to be able to throw it all that well against this team. We're going to run it up the middle and soften them up. You got to do what works. So where I will be critical of DeFilippo is, as you said, at New England, Dalvin Cook's running crazy and he doesn't give him the ball enough. That is dumb. That's probably what got him fired as much as anything else. But the reason they stuck with the run, to use another cliche, on Sunday was because it was working.
Yeah.
It's easy to stick with the run when it's 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2. If you stick with the run, establish the running game, and you're facing 3rd and 10 because you got jammed twice, that's not smart football.
Yep.
You got to do what works in each situation, not just have some vague philosophy that's going to get you in trouble.
Well, and here's as long as we're talking about things that really bug us.
This is going to be a long show, man.
Well, that's true. I'll just go with this one for now anyway. People that base their opinions of a play call on the result.
Exactly.
And it drives me crazy because we could take the same people that were criticizing the Vikings to decide to run the ball 2 weeks ago on 4th and 1, and those same people would be saying, what a great call by Stefanski to throw it to Conklin on 3rd and 1.
No kidding.
And I just think with short yardage, okay, there are times that you get up to the line, and I think a quarterback sneak is the best thing. There are times, like Seattle, there was an instance where they got up to the line, and Seattle was just jamming the middle of the line. Then it's not the best play to run. But I do think you need to get away from every time it's 3rd or 4th and 1 that you're going to have to run the ball. You do have to throw in the mix-up play every once in a while. And that's where I think, when Stefanski called it on 3rd and 1 and the throw downfield to Conklin, it's great because it gives them some variety to their short yardage plays. But also, in a game like that, you can kind of throw in those things to mix up future teams and say, well, maybe they'll do it, even though in a closer game, you might be more willing to take the safer play, which is run the ball in that case. But I do think there are way too many people that want to criticize play calling, and it's based off of what happened on that play. Did they get the first down or not? It was a terrific play to run a play action boot on 3rd and 1. Well, if they don't get it, and It's in a close game and it really matters.
And it stops the clock, and the Dolphins go down and score.
Yep. Then everyone's criticizing that play call. But Stefanski basically reversed all the trends. Like, they were throwing twice as much as they were passing. In this game, that reversed. And, but it helps when the effectiveness of the running game is there, because it's so much easier to stick with a run when you're averaging 5-6 yards a carry and you think you're getting close to breaking one, which, I really think in a lot of the games, there have been probably 3 instances where I thought, wow, Cook was just a shoestring tackle away from breaking it. And that's really, to me, the exciting part about having Cook back there, and why you want to feed him the ball a bunch is because he has that chance to break the long ones, and he's also, not going to take a lot of losses. He's got to get the help of the offensive line to get to the line of scrimmage and maybe make the first person miss, but he does that so often that he really enables a play caller to stick with him.
No question about it. Let's talk more about Stefanski, because I do find him to be an interesting figure in this franchise and in this season. We do want to thank Mississippi Pub, Inver Grove Heights. GPS it, Google it, or go to MississippiPub.com. It's 4455 66th Street East, but it's easier if you just GPS it. They have events all week long. They have a daily happy hour. They have breakfast on Saturday and Sunday. They have the Friday fish fries. Tim and I have eaten out there. We really enjoy it. They have ribs on Saturday, 2 p.m. until they're gone. Full rack is just $12. They host private parties. Check out MississippiPub.com and their partners, Beaver Island Brewing. And if you want the website for that, go to beaverislandbrew.com and check out not only the beers, but all their community events and the good works that they do. MississippiPub.com. Check them out, visit them, and remember, keep it in mind, it's a great place to go during training camp. So next training camp, if you're looking for a place to have a beer, lunch, dinner, whatever, hop over to Mississippi Pub. It's very convenient, and it's beautiful views out over the Mississippi River. Other reminders, our producer is Brandon Morton. Thanks to Brandon. If you'd like to advertise with us, you can reach me at talknorthpodcast@gmail.com, and please download before you listen. So, as journalists, as people who have been covering the league since the 90s, we always want to add perspective, and sometimes that annoys fans because they think we're trying to take away the fun. Listen, we're trying to calm the waters a little bit, because what happened on Sunday, as impressive as it was, did come against a bad defense that doesn't play well on the road. But I do like Stefanski. I thought he should have the job to begin with. I think he's a really smart guy. He is really well thought of inside the organization. I think he's going to be a success. I just think we have to temper expectations, just because it's not always going to be as easy as it was on Sunday.
Well, speaking of tempering expectations, how about reports that other teams are looking at Stefanski as a head coach? And this came out before he ever was the play caller in this game, which I think is kind of ridiculous.
It's just like, you know what? It's the Minnesota thing, though, to worry about that stuff. Don't you remember that Brewster, Richard Pitino, all these people, before they ever coached a game here, people were worried how quickly they get stolen away.
Well, and that was the worry with DiFilippo, too, when they hired him.
Yeah.
And I think,
you know if they get hired away from you, at least they did a good enough job to get hired away. It's not a bad thing.
And you made a good decision in hiring that guy before anybody else saw it for the next promotion in his tenure. For Stefanski, though, I think the thing that surprised me the most, I figured, okay, Zimmer's been saying run the ball. They're going to run the ball. But I was surprised how often that Kirk Cousins was under center. The trend has been in the NFL to have shotgun snaps, and running backs have to adapt to that. Adrian Peterson had a hard time adapting to that. Cook, I think, can do it either way.
Well, I do think for some reason Cousins seems more comfortable under center, and play action with him seems to work better under center. So many things are idiosyncrasy. I mean, Peyton Manning looks so much more comfortable when he's in shotgun. He can just survey the field. But, that was more of kind of a spread option concept. This really is. They really do seem like they're at their best when they get a little bit of a running game going, and then they can go play action, and under center makes sense in that way here.
Well, I know Zimmer had talked about Cook being able to, be a running back either way, an effective running back, whether quarterback is under center or not. But in talking to Cook about it, I think he feels like he has more time to see what's coming at him when he's getting the handoff from under center.
Oh, absolutely. Let's take a break here and thank WizKids.tech, our primary sponsor on the podcast network. It's WHIZKIDS.tech. Unified Communications, Managed IT, Cloud Services. Check out their billboard on Washington Avenue, and we recommend you working with WizKids.tech as your chief technology ally.
Hello, Minnesota sports fans. This is Michael Thanner, founder and CEO of WizKids. WizKids is a Minneapolis-based managed IT, hosted VoIP, and cloud services provider. Businesses today require fast response times, skilled support staff, clear communication, and technology recommendations that align with their business goals. At WizKids, we do this each and every day with our clients. When you call into our help desk for support or work with one of our higher-level engineers on a complex issue, you'll find our staff personable and ready to roll up their sleeves to help you solve your technology problems. Reach out to WizKids today to find out how we can help your business meet your technology goals. Visit us online at WizKids.tech. That's WizKids.tech. WizKids, make it happen.
The one thing I will say, Tim, is that you don't always get great quotes out of a locker room, but you do get a feel for the room. And I thought it was really interesting on Sunday after they beat the Dolphins that the offensive players were really eager to praise Stefanski, which I took as they're really happy he has the job, and maybe they're happy that DiFilippo no longer has the job.
Yeah, well, it's also easier to be happy about things when you come off a big win.
Yeah, but I thought there was an edge there. I thought it was kind of like, now we're doing this, and now we're doing this.
Yeah, the one thing that I thought was interesting that Zimmer said, even the week before the Dolphins game, was talking about thinking that Kirk would feel more inclusive in the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that says a lot that, maybe there was a little, DiFilippo coming from a heavy passing game in Philadelphia, feeling like that's the way to go. But I also find it interesting, too, that, whenever you ask Kirk about establishing the run, you get answers that, the words seem right, but you don't really get the belief that he would be all that disappointed if he's throwing 40 times a game either.
Well, and that's the interesting thing about Cousins. He is a little political, I think. I think sometimes he says what he's supposed to say, sometimes he says what he's maybe not supposed to say, but says it in a way where he's kind of being cautious. Like, basically, he's been throwing Kyle Rudolph under the bus. I hate the phrase under the bus, but I couldn't think of anything else. He's been kind of hinting that Kyle Rudolph really screwed up that play that led to the pick six on Sunday. And as a reporter, I love it when people give us information and give us the truth. But the way Kirk does it, it feels like he's kind of going, okay, not my fault, that guy's fault.
Well, and there have been a lot of those instances where even when you ask them about ball security,
Mm-hmm.
how am I supposed to know that blindside guy is coming?
Yeah.
Which, in some instances, I get, but
It's not that he's not being honest or what he's saying doesn't have validity, but there's that little okay, it's the other guy's fault
Yeah.
aspect.